Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the 210 show. I am your substitute host for this evening. I am the hater with facts. And before we get to the proceedings this evening, let's get to the roll call.
This is Angry Joey.
Tony with takes. Let's go.
My man, my man.
And I am Wu Pig Sui.
Yeah, my
All
other
right.
man.
All right. And for tonight, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about Major League Baseball. And then we're going to talk about negotiating fantasy trades. So we're going to be a small show tonight, but we want to make sure we hit some big things. So with that said, Angry Joey, take us with the Major League Baseball.
All right. Holy shit. Did we see some fireworks last night, man? Okay, so let's just capture the elephant in the room. Ohtani. My goodness. The man, he actually just he set records last night. I mean, aside from hitting three home runs, let's just put aside the fact that he busted his slump, but he hit one in the second, and he hit his first in the second, and then his second in the fourth. And I think that is still trying to find land, while it's sailing out of orbit, because he put it into the stratosphere. That was unbelievable. And the third, he actually got in the seventh. He This is what's really magical. He struck out 10 batters. In over 6 scoreless innings. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah,
First
to say the
in,
least.
yeah,
Dude.
yeah, first in 3 Major League Baseball, in Major League Baseball history to actually do this. Somebody to actually strike out strike out 10 batters in 6 scoreless innings and still knock out 3 home runs.
Not still. Dude, he literally pitched. He gave up less hits than he hit home runs. It was without a doubt the greatest game ever played. I don't even think that. And not only that, it was in the playoffs. And I get it, they were up 3-0, but still, it was still the playoffs on the second largest stage you can get, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Championship series. Besides the World Series, it's the second largest stage you can get. Come on.
Absolutely.
It was unbelievable.
And before Friday, it
was an elimination game too, so that also counts too.
Only 12 players in history have hit 3 home runs, and only 26 have actually struck out 10, without allowing a run in playoff history. And he actually did both.
Yeah,
that's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
I've never seen baseball like that. I don't care what fan you are, but if you're watching that game, you watched magic. You watched history. Serious. So I don't know. I'm so glad that I'm a Dodgers fan. But at the same time, even if I was a Giants fan, I would be in awe. It was just amazing. It really was.
It just goes to show you, when you see greatness like that, just to put it in the context, right? You've seen the triple doubles by LeBron, right? You've seen 40-point games from Kobe. You've seen 40-point games from Michael Jordan, right? You've even seen 3 home run games from Aaron Judge before. But what Ohtani's doing though, the way he comes about it, and the fact that he was struggling. He was struggling in the postseason, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, people are actually questioning how good he is and all this type of stuff. You know how the media is. They were doing all this type of nonsense.
That's funny.
You know what I mean?
I think I was even texting you guys saying that he's in a slump. He came out of that slump in a big way last night.
Well,
man.
It's funny that 3 games were like, oh my God, Ohtani's in a slump. That just proves, you know what I mean?
Right. He's really being measured against himself at this point.
Right.
It's I think to me too, it's just it's almost like he needed to pitch to understand how he needed to approach the bat. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe,
now I'm seeing it from this point of view, and it's oh, now I know what I need to do. And then all of a sudden, because he looks so relaxed, each at bat,
he's not thinking about it as much, maybe, right?
Yeah. It was crazy, right? So,
Dude, but
man,
Come
hats
on,
off,
man.
man. Like that dude, that he's something else, man. Like I can't hate on it. And the fact that now I do have one question for you two because you guys are the experts here. The one thing that did not happen that I was going to be curious of how it's going to happen is, when the discussion happens between the catcher and the pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when there's a language, guessing that there's going to be a language barrier between, I don't remember who your catcher is, but between
Will
him and
Smith.
Ohtani, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So if there's is are they allowed to have an interpreter go to the mound
Dude,
with Smith and Ohtani? Like, is that allowed?
yes, I think he does go out when they make a mound visit, but not like when I don't know what happens when they're discussing shit, what on the pitch cam, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck they call it. Uh
yeah.
yeah, I don't think you have enough time to have like an interpreter in there. I think what they do is, Otani knows some English. I think they just
Uh-huh.
have a code, but that's
Right.
my thing. But I don't
Yeah,
I don't I don't know.
yeah.
But when they do a mound visit, there's definitely an interpreter out there with them.
Okay,
Or there used
okay.
to be.
Yeah. It's not like he needed it last night, but I was just like, it just came across my mind when I was watching the highlights this morning. And I was like, wow, dude. But yeah, it's just absolutely incredible. And as far as the Brewers go, like, hey, you tried. You
Well,
a
and
buzz saw.
that was another big surprise, because I thought that the Brewers there was no way that the Brewers are going to get swept, but here we are. I mean,
I know.
I could not believe that the Brewers got swept. I thought that going into this thing that this thing could have gone down to the wire,
Mhm.
but the Dodgers, wow, oh my gosh, they just put it together. Their pitching and just their hitting, I mean, all around was just really remarkable. I was
It
very, very
was it was
I
their pitching, man, and that's scary. So,
well, it was
oh,
Snell
man,
and all those
I don't know how you beat them. I don't know how you beat them. If Snell and Yamamoto can do that, it's basically
yeah,
you can't. They're unbeatable.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens
We'll see,
in the,
because Mariners, I mean, and I guess that's another series that we need to talk about is the Jays, because right now the Mariners are up, what, 3-2 right now, right? And I think they play tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. What I'd love to see is the Jays actually win that game and it go for 7 games and give my Dodgers a little bit more time, but we'll see. But the
Do
Mariners,
you
they're
want that though? I mean, do you really want a lot of time between the start of the series, given the
in
fact that you guys are
okay, so if it's football, no. If it's baseball, yes, because you
because the
need to give
arms.
your
Yeah,
yeah, you need to give your pitcher's arms some rest, especially if you
Mhm.
have the so-called weak bench.
Well, I will say, like, even when your bullpen even came up and it looked a little they did look a little shaky. I don't know the old dude's name, but I think he was wearing goggles. But it seemed like the Brewers were starting to get, runners on base and stuff like that. So I was like, "Oh, so this is the infamous bullpen of the Dodgers that everybody keeps talking about." But again, when you have stud arms like you do, like 1, 2, 3, and then, "Oh, we can go ahead and bring Ohtani in if we need to." Like, that's a hell of a weapon to have, man.
Oh, man, did you see some of the pitches that Ohtani was throwing? I mean,
Dude,
my god, he was just
straight
throwing
nasty.
hard.
Just straight nasty, dude. I was like, "Wow." Like, that type of talent, man. Like,
Yeah. The
I
he's a fucking alien. I mean, what do you
I
say?
yeah, no, basically is like we just got to separate him from everybody else. But Rick Hater, the Dodgers bullpen was a question coming in to playoffs. The craziest thing that happened was they made Sasaki their like late inning guy, and all of a sudden he's this like shut down. And you see that like just a shutdown closer, almost like a closer who can pitch multiple innings. He's been amazing this playoffs. Quietly, I think people don't
mm,
talk about that enough. So that
yeah,
bullpen is almost solidified more because of that. And he's been like ridiculously nasty. But he gets kind of lost in the sauce.
right.
But that is a big story, and it doesn't get covered enough. I think it should. He's been absolutely lights out, and it's made their team so much better. Obviously, when your starters can go 7, 8 dominant innings, that
Yeah,
helps a lot. So, but when you can just not have your bullpen pitch at all, basically, hey, how about this? Snell pitch 8 innings and then Sasaki comes in, or even 7. Hey, Yamamoto pitch 7 innings, Sasaki comes in, boom, you're done. How are you going to beat that? So that's a big key to that bullpen, and if he continues to pitch like that, they're unbeatable.
Yeah.
Because how many innings has the actual bullpen that we were worried about before the playoffs pitched? How many innings? Like, not a lot. It's been ridiculously dominant, and it sucks because.
So let me ask you this, Tony.
Yeah.
Okay, so switching gears to the American League, how do you think this one shakes out? Do you think the Mariners tie it up, or do you think that they?
Man, I don't know. What a great series, though, right? Like,
right, exactly,
unbelievable. Like, I'm just enjoying it. I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows.
The Mariners were up 2-1, and then the
Blue Jay. No, there were
the
two.
Jays.
Blue
They
Jays
actually
came
went
back.
up like 15-1 or 15-2 or something like that. It was like ridiculous blowout. So I have no idea how this thing is going to shake up now, man. I mean,
it's just fun to watch. It's just fun to watch, man.
Beautiful baseball. Beautiful baseball.
All I hope is that the team that deserves it makes it, and then they give the Dodgers a run. What I don't want is one of them to make it, and we get a sweep. So whoever's hungrier and healthier, just go get it. I'm rooting for the Mariners because I put money on them and I took them. But even when we talked, I picked them. But hey, I don't care. I just want to have a good series. Like, it's just great baseball. It's great to watch. Way better than, although the NL was exciting, the AL is like, it's unbelievable right now.
It is. Yeah. It's very, very exciting. But I even think that whoever actually makes it, whether it be the Jays or the Mariners, to meet the Dodgers, either one, that's going to be a great matchup. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well,
I agree.
Yeah, I will say this: if Seattle pulls it off, then half of America will be upset because all the games will start at 10:00 at night on the East Coast.
Yeah, there's
that's true. Well, I'll be in Vegas for the first couple of them, so I'll be happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, all right. I think we covered everything. Did you have any mind blowing stats to give us, Angry Joey?
No, nothing.
Dude, nothing. I could talk forever about it. The Ohtani game was the greatest game ever played. Like, guys, we saw the greatest baseball game ever played since, and how long has it been? 1867 or whatever. Like, come on.
Yeah. That was. Well,
I'm so glad I watched that game. I'm so glad. I'm so happy.
I'm going to say that it was the best player achievement that I've ever seen. I don't know if I would go so far as to call it the best game, but I've never seen a player play that way.
I know. Haters probably rolling his eyes right now because he wants to move on. But dude, you're right.
No, go ahead.
You're right, because Joe Montana didn't fucking play defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about, how about we talk about it again on Tuesday, like just for 5 minutes with everybody after we digest it, and then But let's move on for today. But I agree with you, man. It's just unbelievable.
All right,
moving on.
All right, yeah. So yeah, we got a slight different pivot for today, and we're going to talk a little bit on the fantasy football side of things, and we're just going to speak on how to negotiate trades and fantasy football. And all of us are in the same league together, and we've been in this league for 12 years, right?
12? Yeah.
So 12 years, even though, Woo Pig is our newest, even though he's officially our newest guy in the league, but he's been around. First year. Yeah. But you've been around it the whole damn time. So it's basically you've been a part of it anyway. So, but when it comes down to trade negotiation, right? Now we are a dynasty league. And just to explain for those who do not know, a dynasty league is where you initially draft all your players for your roster, which is normally the longest process of anything. But you keep all your players for as long as you want them, and for as long as the league is in existence. So, but every year after that, you draft rookies who are coming into the league. Now, so when it comes down to making trades, the dynamics is different because you're not just you could be on one end of the spectrum where you're trying to go for a championship that season, or you're in a rebuild and you're trying to, you're trying to stack as many young players as possible and try to cultivate your roster so that it can compete in the future. So when it happens, especially now, since we're about the halfway point of the season for this year, and you look at the records for all the teams, and you look at yourself and you're like, hey, where can I improve? What assets do I need to give up? What areas do I need to improve? And can I do that? And can I get that deal done with the person that normally either I normally don't even conversate with, or somebody that, has a reputation maybe of not being as cooperative as you would want them to. So I'm going to pass it to our commissioner first, who sometimes have to witness trade transactions go down. Maybe he likes them, maybe he doesn't. But as a commissioner of our league, and you see some trades go down, what are some of the thoughts that go through your mind?
Well, I guess it kind of depends. From a commissioner standpoint, I think that there's some trades that come down that look blatantly bad. Okay, you're always looking for collusion, or if you're trying to purposefully lose, you're always kind of looking for that, but the only time that you can ever really prove that is if somebody really admits it, or if somebody's actively looking to drop out from the league and help their buddy. I don't know, man. It's really a tough thing, because being a commissioner in our league is relatively easy because everybody generally wants to win. So I have no restrictions on trades or anything like that. Simply because nobody really wants to lose. There are some signs when people want to tank, if you will, but for the most part, my job is actually pretty easy with the group that I at.
Well, I will ask this. As a commissioner, right?
Okay.
What is your opinion on or trying to not manufacture, but navigating stupid? Can you legislate stupid?
Okay, you need to define that a little bit more.
Okay. So like I know you mentioned about collusion, right? But that's an actual that's an actual discussion between the two parties that are doing something like that. But
Okay.
when there's agreed to trade that is so egregious, like if there is, let's just say if it was Justin Jefferson for a fourth round pick, something like that, right? That's actually agreed upon, right? Something like that is almost, you have to invoke, integrity of the game type language when it comes to stuff like that, right?
Well, like that would be a problem, because that tells me that somebody's looking to leave the league and build somebody else up, while they're actually, that's absolute nonsense. Something that is that egregious, then yeah, basically what we do is we do have a voting system, but in our league, because everybody is so tight knit and uh, uh, there's no need to actually have a voting system in our league. So the votes, they actually happen almost immediately. So nobody's going to make a stupid move like that. Now, if you're actually paired up with other players that you don't know or anything like that, well, then you need to have a voting system. And I would say that you should have, for stupid shit like that, you should actually have like a vote of 4 to 10, or something close to that, that would actually vote that trade down, because then you're kind of messing with the integrity of the league. And at the end of the day, it's things like that that actually cost the league their status, and I mean they just disappear.
And that's when fun fades away, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, and that's why fantasy leagues dissolve. And this is why, we've managed to keep our league together for going on 12 years now. and why so many other dynasty leagues die within 2 to 3, just because the integrity of the league sucks. I mean, that's a problem, I mean, but it also helps, when you're playing a dynasty league, when you're friends with people, I mean, and these guys, you can actually have a beer with them and, just be able to talk sports and stuff like that and enjoy the experience. That's what makes it so much fun.
Well, in light of that, right? I think I mean now I can pivot to Woo Pig, right? Because since you are the newest guy in our particular league, and you have been a very, very active trader, like right out the gate, right?
Yeah.
And so give us a little bit of what was your approach when you looked at the team that you inherited and you had to decide which way you were going to go, if you're going to stand pat, make moves, and what type of moves you're going to make.
So the person I inherited the team from, he initially drafted really, really well. So my team wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So I saw myself finishing somewhere in the middle of the pack, and that's the worst place to finish in fantasy football because you're not competitive for a championship, but you're not getting those top tier picks. So when I first joined, I decided he had a lot of players that were good but old, and I decided to get rid of all my old players. So I went on a trade spree for picks and for younger players. So I traded for players like JSN. I traded for a lot of picks. And then in the draft, I used those picks to get additional picks for future years. So right now, I have the most picks in our league for over the next 3 years that I can use as draft capital. And then a lot of the picks that I've made or pickups that I've made through these trades have also worked out, like JSN, Scatabo. A lot of those players have really started to work out for me to the point to where my whole plan this year was to be near the bottom of the pack. And I'm right back where I didn't want to be, which is in the very middle of the pack.
Gotta hand it to
So
you, Pig. You actually made some very, very, very clever decisions, man. I mean, I think they're turning out to be really, really good. I mean, and you hit the nail on the head. And I think we've said this in previous pods. If you're finishing in the middle of the pack, that's the worst place you can finish. If you're finishing middle of the pack, you need to destroy your team and start from scratch. And I think you did really, really good. I mean, hats off to you, my friend.
I appreciate it. Yeah, my team's much younger. I don't have a lot of old players on my team anymore, and I'm trying to build for the future. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Plus, from just the worst feeling in the world would be if I picked up a team that somebody else built
Yeah,
and then won with it, right?
I was gonna say that.
So I definitely
So
wanted to
your
put my
team now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely reworked that whole team to where now if I win, it's not because of what the previous owner did. It's because I completely changed it. So that
No,
also
but
fell into it too.
dude, I think you're one of the best additions to the league. You evaluated your team. You were like, all right, I'm going to do this, this, and this, not caring, not worrying about if you won or lost a trade like, 3 or 4 people in our league do. So it's impossible to trade with. No, it was awesome. It was brilliant. Some of those trades already worked out. So you're on the winning side. But who cares if they don't, right? It's like, let me do
Yeah,
something, shake
yeah,
shit up. You evaluated your team and you did what you completed your objective. And I think that's what it's all about. Plus, it's fun as shit, right? Like, isn't that the
Absolutely.
isn't that the
Absolutely,
best
Tony.
part?
At the end of the day, they call it fantasy for a reason. I mean, it's a game. I
Dude,
mean,
I know, man.
but I mean, it's good if you win.
yeah,
It's the best if
Sure.
you win. But at the end of the day, have fun with it. For goodness
Right.
sake, think
Right.
it through and have fun with it, and try to be the best that you can be. I mean,
The cheapest
you don't play the
entertainment you'll ever
games to be
have.
last. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I think it's the cheapest entertainment ever. So you telling me for a small, fee to enter a league, you're telling me I get a year's worth of entertainment and fun? Like that's a good deal.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
You know,
but you
that's
definitely have to
way
have some.
less cheap than Netflix. You know what I'm saying? That's like better deal than Netflix.
Yeah, but you have to have some confidence in yourself because in this league, man, I got razzed by everybody. When I started making all those trades, people were looking at me like I was crazy.
Well, you can't be
But
a you know, you're gonna you can in this league, every trade
Oh my
gets that
god.
shit in our
Yeah, yeah,
you know how it is.
Dude, welcome
yeah.
to the league, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's how it is, bro. You could trade
Well, you're one of the
like a
worst,
dude. You could
Tony.
trade a kicker for a kicker, motherfucker. Somebody will get mad.
Well,
Oh,
and
dude.
but you're one of the worst too, Tony. Like
Hey,
one of
fuck
the
you.
one of the one of the trades I made with you were like, we should ban this. We should vote to cancel this trade. It was the
No, I
trade I
did
made for
not. I would never
JSN.
veto a trade. I would
Wow.
show the evidence. I would never veto a trade.
It was
You
Show the
know that
evidence.
shit.
it
I am
was
against
when I
that
traded the
wholeheartedly.
103. You might have
Wholeheartedly.
been joking. You
I
might have
would
been
never
joking, but
say
you
that.
said it.
You fucking better prove it.
I'll find the damn text
You
because I
bet.
think
Yeah,
it was
go
a
find
text.
it. Woo pig. Go find it.
Oh man. Oh my god. I will say,
Anyways,
I think
it has been fun. It's been real fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm glad I'm in the league now, and yeah, the fact that it's a long-standing league
Yeah.
adds a whole different
Oh,
dynamic to it.
dude, you're in it to the day you die. How about
Yeah.
that?
There you go.
pretty much.
It ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Nope. Well, I will say this. I think I have for all the 12 years that we've been around, I'm probably the only one that may have suggested a veto of a trade. But but it was anyway. That we don't have to talk about that. But well, Tony would take since you have a lot to say about this, and since you are the only champion in our league that's actually in this discussion today, you've seen the highest of highs. You haven't seen necessarily the lowest of lows because you don't necessarily pick in the top 5 a lot. So when it comes down to
What he's saying, folks, is that I'm pretty damn good.
see,
He might
I'm
he might
trying
have
to
a
I'm
he
You
trying to
know,
give
he's
you your
saying
flowers,
he's
dog. You
basically
gonna
saying I've been great for a long, long time.
no. What I'm saying is that
Okay,
you
sorry.
have been the Buffalo Bills of our league, where you have scored a lot, you make it to the playoffs, but you haven't been able to cash the deal in.
So you're saying
Only
I've been
one.
great for a long, long time.
Okay, fine, whatever. In your words, you've been great. I'm just saying you have been very competitive. That's all I'm saying. Now,
Okay.
with that said, how do you balance when to let a player go, especially in Dynasty where you're holding on to the players, especially those that you drafted, you feel a little connection to them, but sometimes you got to make that decision. It's time to let them go.
Ugh, that's a great question, and not easy to answer. And I think you know this. It has to do with your roster, right? What are you competing right now or are you not? In my case, I was always competing, right? So as you alluded to, Hater. So when I'm always competing, I'm willing to give up draft picks to add somebody who can help me right now. You just got to be willing to do it. Fine. I want to win. I want to win. Now that could change though as you get older. Like I'm kind of like my team has kind of evolved over the years. You got to adapt. So when I see an opportunity to trade a guy for an old guy who I may have wanted to hold on to when I was in win mode, now I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I trade him for a high pick now while he's still valuable, and now I get draft capital. So I'm kind of changing the way you kind of evolve through the maturity of your roster. Ideally you want to win all the time, but sometimes you just can't do it. So I think the answer to your question is really evaluating your roster and then adapting from there. But I would say the one thing, trade a guy I'd rather trade him a year early than a year late, if that makes sense. All right, if I trade a guy who can get me a first round pick, I would rather trade him now when he's worth something than to trade him a year to hold on to him and he doesn't do shit for me. And then then all of a sudden he's worth nothing if I hold on that year too long. And I think a lot of owners just want to keep everybody because they're good, and that's cool. You think they're good, but they're not worth a lot. So you got to really be willing to let people go. The worst thing is to hold on to a great player and then have to drop them because you didn't get shit for them. Now that would work again if you're winning, but you can't win all the time. So So
Yeah.
I knew I was going to go long-winded on that, but it really does take that type of consideration.
That's one hell of a comment there, dude. And I think that Kyle actually can talk about that a little bit when you traded Derrick Henry. I mean, look what he's doing this year.
Yeah, perfect
compared to what he
example.
did last year. You traded him at the precise moment that he needed to be traded. I thought that was a lot of people were sitting there going, "What the fuck are you doing?" But
look at why he did it. That's the point. The roster consideration, right?
Yeah.
He was like, "What the hell is Derrick Henry gonna?" The worst thing that Derrick Henry could have done for Whoopig is for him to win 2 extra games because Henry went off, right? So now instead of the first or second pick, he has the 5th or 6th. Now, obviously, his team turned out different, but that's the thought process,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Derrick, you're exactly right. I traded Derrick Henry when I thought he was going to have the biggest trade value. Because I mean, he's been in the league for 9 years. He wasn't going to stay on top for that much longer. I didn't know he was going to drop off this year. I thought he still had 1 or 2 great years left in him, but I was willing to give up those great years because I was trying to build my team for the future.
But
And like you said, I didn't want him to help me win 1 or 2 games. I wanted picks that'll help me win a chip down the road.
Yeah, but to kind of piggyback off of what Tony was saying, it also takes we'll go the reverse route. The trade that I was recently offered was Mark Andrews. When I actually have McBride on my team as well, he was offering me Mark Andrews for, let me see, who was it? It was Mark Andrews and a second for Kincaid. Why would I take that? There's just no way. Is it a fair? If you actually put it into a trade calculator, yeah, it makes sense. But in this case, it just didn't make sense. Why am I going to get older? It just didn't make sense.
And that's where, and this is another point I think that we can pivot to right now is when you look at, there's some players that have more name than they do game, right? And you can try to massage that discussion with whoever you're trying to trade with, like, oh, this guy, look at all the things that he has done and stuff like that. Yes, but he did those things for you. Now you're trying to give them to me. Now I have to look at it and think, oh, is this guy still going to produce for me now? Well, I'll speak for myself. When I try to trade with people, I'm going to trade players that I want to make you think. I'm going to make you think about that trade. It's not going to be so outrageous or so stupid that you're just going to instantly hit decline and don't want to counter anything. I never try to do that. I'm going to try to offer players that, hey, I've already looked at your roster and I say, okay, based on what I see, I offer this to you. It can be a benefit to you. Now, in return, I'm looking for whatever I'm looking for, like either another player at another position that's equally as valuable, or maybe somebody who's lesser than at the same position, but now I want some picks to come along with it, something along those lines. But not everybody.
Here's another thing, and don't think that you can actually quantify players, by offering a bunch of bullshit fucking players for one freaking elite
quality over quantity.
Yes.
Yeah, we always have one of those, and I'm not going to say any names, but you know who the fuck I'm talking to if you're listening to this pod. But saying, don't think that you can bundle a bunch of bullshit and hand it to somebody for an elite player. That's not how you make trades.
But Hader brought up a good point, and I think this is worth talking about. When you offer a trade, you got to look at the roster and at least make it a little bit beneficial to them too. So you want to not pick on, but you want to, if you want to give somebody who's weak at running back a running back, even, or you want to look at what you want, what you need, and what they need, it's really hard to make a trade if you're trying to trade something to somebody who's super strong at, say, wide receiver, and you're trying to trade him a receiver. Well, why would they do that? You got to look at their roster.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people just look at what we need, like what I need, and then they're like, oh, well, let me just go put trades out there without looking at the other roster to see what they need.
Yeah, good point, Tony. Good point.
You could actually get better value by doing that,
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was going to ask. I was going to ask
hold
you
on before we move on.
Go ahead.
So can we talk about your latest trade and what was your thought process behind it? Because I'm looking at this trade and scratching my head.
Who?
Oh, okay. So all right.
So let me break it down. So, Hater with Facts, he traded Zay Flowers.
Oh, dude, yes, bring it up because
for Dallas Goedert and Jalen Coker.
Garbage. Like, what is this? What is this? That's a great pig. Come on, man. I love you.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What
He
were you
needs to
thinking?
explain some shit right now.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So okay. So okay. Here's the thing. All right. So there's a little bit of projection on my part, right? So Dallas Goedert right now, he's producing this year. He is.
But you have Brock Bowers and Hunter Henry already.
I know. Like, what the God.
I understand.
I don't know, dude.
I understand. Yes, I do have Brock Bowers, but right now he's hurt. I can't use him. He's going to zero right now.
Zay Flowers, though.
but, and then right now, Hunter Henry, he's been like the last couple of weeks, he hasn't really done anything. So I'm still in playoff position right now, and I'm just what I'm basically doing is I'm trying to thread the needle at the tight end position right now, so I have options where I need to go to. That's number one. Number two, Zay Flowers is the weakest wide receiver that I have. And so I'm moving him along because you're probably thinking, well, what about what's up with Jalen Coker? Now, this is me projecting a little bit. I have done some research on this guy, and I feel like that he can be a very good complementary wide receiver on Carolina's offense next to Ted McMillan.
So he can almost be like half of Zay Flowers.
No, but you know what? Here's the thing that's nerve-wracking about Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is a very capable wide receiver. He is very good. The problem is that his target share is so topsy-turvy. It's very, very nerve-wracking, right?
So you think Jalen Coker is going to be better?
Maybe not immediately. See, that's why. Okay,
dude, Ted's there. The offense is horrendous.
No. That's where the Dallas Goedert part comes in. He can fill into my roster now. Coker is more for a future play, right? So yes, am I giving up? I'm giving up Zay Flowers now, yes. But the gamble that I'm playing right now is that Dallas Goedert can fill in the hole at least until Brock Bowers comes back. And if I have to run two tight ends, especially since next week is my apocalypse because I have a lot of players that's going to be out.
Yeah.
If I have to run two tight ends, especially since we're in a tight end premium league, and he's a top 10 tight end right now, I can use him, pair him with Brock Bowers by dip a little bit in the wide receiver, but I still have other guys that I can still use right now in my starting lineup. So
for the audience, our league is a tight end premium, which means they get extra points. In our league, they get 1.5 points per reception. So
yes.
Tight ends are a little bit more valuable. However, I think that was a horrendous trade.
But here's the other problem.
Doesn't make it any better, in my opinion.
But here's the problem. The players that I targeted with the team that in question here, I would normally I'll have some picks coming back. The problem is he doesn't have any. So it's like I can't.
He didn't have any.
So it's like
you help him out by giving him a young stud receiver. I don't know, man.
But I targeted. But here's the thing you know about me, Tony.
Yep.
If there's a guy that I want, I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to get him.
I know.
Now that sometimes bites me in the butt. It has bitten me in the butt before, and this is how sometimes Woo Pig will call me a trade addict in some instances because of it. But yeah,
his eye kind of twitches a little bit. He kind of.
I think he needed a little. I think he needed a little.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not Tyrone Biggums up in here, but there are times where I want to make a deal. But in this case, though, it's just like, if
Dude.
I have a feeling about a player, I'm willing to do what I need to do to get him. So,
Oh man, I would have gave you Kittle for Flowers. Like you could have a tight end that you could start for the rest of the year and be a beast.
but you didn't make an offer either. I put
I
him up
didn't
on the
know
trade.
Zay Flowers on the
I put him on the trade block. Now that's
when
another lesson.
yesterday.
That
When
is another
yesterday.
thing.
No,
People don't
no.
check the trade block ever.
I know. I don't. I really don't.
See, now that's another lesson for the audience that we can talk about right now.
Okay, but I also didn't think you needed a tight end because you don't
Yeah, you have two
don't
in the
need a
top
tight
10.
end. You know what I'm saying?
I have one guy. My primary dude is hurt. My primary dude is hurt.
But you have Hunter Henry, who's been what is he? He's a top 10 tight end, isn't he?
Yeah, he's number 9.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you're the last person I thought to offer him. I've been trying to trade him to Steve and I are having discussions. And actually a big trade might go down tonight. Just to let you know.
Oh boy. All right. Well, well, as we talk about this, another lesson that we can lay out for the audience is, if your league has a trade block, check it, because you never know who's out there.
I sent a trade tonight based off the trade block. So just throwing that out there. Yeah. People don't check the trade block.
Okay. Yeah. So I what I don't do is check the trade block. I check the stream, our chat stream. We play on Sleeper. So if I don't see it though, maybe it got buried beneath the waiver wire messages and shit, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Where's Angry Joey at? What's he got to say?
Yeah.
I'm kind of lost in this, I'm actually a little enraptured in my Notre Dame USC fight right now.
What's going on?
Right now, USC is down 24-27, and Notre Dame just actually got a turnover, and they are at the USC 45, I'd say 40. So I mean, this is one hell of a game. So sorry, guys.
That was the worst That was the worst play call that I've ever heard in my life.
I'm not a play announcer, man. I mean,
you definitely don't have a job in
ESPN. Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is up, and
Notre Dame just got a first down. They are marked, so it's getting pretty interesting.
All right.
But I mean, this game is it's a little bit too tight to wash right now. So anyway, if I just for a minute,
if you win this game, though, it's been a good week for you, because not only did you win, but LSU lost.
Oh well, no, it'd make it even better as if Brian Kelly got fired. And
that'd be a win. That'd be a win for America if that happens.
Yeah, I was saying this earlier.
Exactly, win for America. Exactly.
I was saying it earlier, though. I think he's safe this year.
Yeah,
I mean, the wheels would really have to come off for him to lose his job.
Okay, and now Notre Dame is within the 5.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, okay.
All right, that's enough.
I'm sure you're wanting to derail this conversation. Okay.
Yeah, that's enough work. That's enough. Catering to touchdown Jesus. Okay. We would. It's less than 8. It's almost 8 minutes to go left in the fourth quarter, and Notre Dame is knocking on the door to possibly seal, or not seal the game, but to take a commanding lead. So we'll move on from there. But if we don't have any more discussion, I did want to bring up one thing. We did have a viewer, and I'm sorry, Angry Joy, I'm gonna have to key you in again, because you had a viewer or a listener who had a trade proposal to them. I don't know if that's still the case, but it's something that involved his attempt to acquire Ashton Genty, correct?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So this was a couple of weeks ago, and let me see if I can sum up the trade. He was trying to get Ashton Genty, but he would have had to give up Derrick Henry and 2 firsts.
2 firsts. Okay. So I'm
Obviously,
assuming
this
this
is a
is
dynasty
just a
league.
dynasty league. Yeah.
This is
Notre
a
Dame just
dynasty league. You know,
Notre Dame just scored.
I don't know what the makeup of their team is. Or excuse me, their league.
Okay.
So you know, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I am unsure of. You know, I mean, but on the surface, let's say that it was our league, okay?
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
Would you actually? Does that make sense to you?
I think I'll go first on this. So for me, even though the little time has passed since then, the way I would look at it is if I could somehow adjust that instead of two first with Derrick Henry, if I could make it a 26 second and a 27 first with Derrick Henry, I think that would be a little bit more negotiable.
I was actually thinking, you know, just kind of get a little bit more squeeze out of it. I would actually say, you know, okay, throw Derrick Henry in there, throw a 2026 in there, but maybe throw maybe a third or maybe a 2027 second.
You wait, hold on. So I have to add. So it will be two first, a
No, no, no,
second,
no, no.
and a third with Derrick Henry to get Ashton Genty.
I would not give up two firsts. Period.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. So
Me personally, that's just me. You know, I mean, but you know, Derrick Henry, I mean, he's what, 2 seasons
see,
out of the game. You know, I mean, what do y'all think?
so okay. I'll make sure that
Well, yeah, that's
I'll
why I
make sure
traded
that
him.
yeah. Huh? Oh well, yeah. I I was gonna say Wu Pig is probably a little jaded on this because he's already traded a Derrick Henry already. But I would say
I'm not
I'm
jaded.
not
I'm happy I did it.
yeah, yeah. Well, the last few pods, you have been very vocal about you're saying that Derrick Henry is basically on his way to the grave at this point. I am not
Yeah, I
100% in
didn't.
that camp.
I mean, he might have a resurgence. I don't know if he's done, but
Right.
he definitely fell off a cliff way sooner than I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to have
See,
another stellar
I-
year this year.
this is where I disagree. See, you saying he's falling off a cliff. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say maybe he need to change a tire or something like that. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying he's falling off the cliff. I
I don't
would
know.
say I would say the one thing that does concern me though is the fact of how the Ravens have been running their goal line offense and he's not out there.
All
That
right, how
does
about this?
concern me,
How
right?
about this? Let's get a take from the greatest fantasy player to ever play the game.
Oh, you must be talking about me.
Self-proclaimed. You should also throw that in there. Self-proclaimed.
What do you
Look,
think about that? I mean, what would you do with that kind of offer if you were in that position?
like we said, it's hard to know. It's hard to know. I gotta know my team.
So you know, for all doubt, let's just say that, you know, because I don't know what the makeup of their dynasty league is. The only thing that I know of is that they are a tight end premium 10-man league.
Okay,
That's it.
look, all right. Well, 10-man league, you want like good. I don't know. Like I would probably give up a first. I I don't know, man. I don't care about Genty. Then like I don't care. Like I don't care. I don't care about Henry either. Like, I don't know, man.
So are you saying that are you down on Ashton Genty just as a player, period?
No, not as a player, as a situation. I don't
Mm.
want to give up too much for him. But I also don't like have like I don't care about Henry either. Like I don't I don't know.
That's a good point there. You know, I mean, because look at the division that Genty's in.
I mean, I
Oh,
like the guy's fine. I'm just not gonna overpay for him. I don't know. I want to see what's going. I like the volume, of course, but Angry Joe. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's I'm trying to contemplate it like as we're talking about it. So I just don't know what I would do.
Yeah, like I said, for me, I would if I can't add if I could somehow just parlay, like my thinking is if I am if I'm giving up Derrick Henry, I'm saying, okay, Derrick Henry if things go wrong, I'm going to need to replace him a lot sooner than I'm again just guessing. I'm going to have to replace Derrick Henry a lot sooner than I will have to replace Ashton Genty. Now, Of course, how do you replace him? You're going to have to replace him with those picks. So, to thread the needle a little bit, if I'm saying that Derrick Henry still has one more year left after this one, I won't need a first-round pick to make that replacement then. But I will need it in 27. So that's why I'm saying instead of 2 firsts like the initial offer is, I would say, okay, for 26, give me a second instead of that first. I will take the first in 27 because more times than not, Derrick Henry is going to be out on his way out. And I think his contract runs out at that point. So I'm going to measure those two things together, and that's why I'm going to use it to target. Now, if I want to make it hurt, I would probably try to add maybe a lower tiered wide receiver on top of that, maybe that's a little on the younger side to try to balance that out. But if I can't, and then and, if the other party is a little squeamish, and they just like totally like cut off everything, you don't want to lose them, right? So I would just try to, take that 26 first, turn that into a second, maybe add a player, or like you said, Angry Joy, maybe throw in maybe a third and 27 or something like that.
So what is the trade offer?
So the trade offer was Derrick Henry and 2 firsts for Genty. I don't know what those what those firsts were and what the makeup of the team was. I would assume that it was going to be a 2026 and a 2027.
So he would
but we don't know like what their team is.
But so I don't know 100% certain, but either way, you're talking 2 firsts and 2 first round picks. That's that's all I really know.
Yeah.
Either way, I would hit a hard pass on that one. Or at least counter.
From what perspective?
Yeah.
From what perspective, though?
Well, okay. So if I'm trying to get Genty,
I think it's a great offer.
Wait, is he the one giving up Genty, or is he the one offering Genty or offering Derrick Henry in the 2 first?
No, the guy that's asked. Let me see. What was it? He's
trying to get Genty, right?
Yeah, he was trying to get Genty.
Well, it's a great offer.
I mean, yeah, it's a strong offer. I think he's offering too much, but
yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, right. If I'm the other guy, I would probably already hit accept already.
Yeah. I would too.
But that's why it's hard. Like, and I know it's like, oh, well, you can say and everything, but we don't know, so it's hard to say. But I mean, even in a vacuum, it seems like really good value. Like, all right, I'll do it because it's not like Genty's offense is projected to be better anytime soon.
That's a good point too.
And you also have to look at it because every league's different, right? Mm-hmm. In some leagues, like the league we're in, people way overvalue picks to the point to where you'll trade away a first round pick for like a proven commodity, a young proven commodity that you would have most certainly used a first round pick for had he been available in the draft, and people will kill you for it. So if you're in one of those leagues where people overemphasize the picks because they're exciting, and that's why people overemphasize them and overvalue them, then you offering 2 first is way out of line. If people underestimate first, or if they're reasonable about what a draft pick is worth, then it's a little bit more reasonable. But I still don't think that pick, I still don't think that offer is great because
Whoopig, you make a good point, but you got to understand this, and I don't even want to give you my expert fantasy advice because you're now in the league, but you got to understand that draft picks are currency, and it is worth a lot. It's worth a lot. It's worth a player that's better because it's in the future. So I get what you're saying. It looks like you're overpaying, but when you have that gold, and then you think it's silver right now, but it becomes gold or platinum in the future, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, that motherfucker. That motherfucker just got like way more than he should have. You know what I mean? So,
but you could also strike out. You can also use that draft pick on somebody that turns out to be a turd. So,
Sure, but
for
you just
me,
made two choices. You're making two choices, though. You're getting that currency for later, and then you can also make a choice to either keep it or sell it. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
the picks are worth more than you think. Picks are worth more than most people think
well, you know
because
what?
of that.
You know what? I hope you're right because I got a crap ton of
Well,
picks in my future, and I plan on using people's perceived value of picks to my advantage going forward.
Well,
'Cause
then
hey,
good.
but that's
There
the
you go.
yeah,
There you go.
that's what
Yeah.
yeah, Tony's hitting the nail on the head here because the draft picks are the power of the mystery, right? It's a blank check. You have no idea what that is. There's no name attached to that. All of you see is just a number, right?
yeah, it's a
And you
gambler's
don't even
high.
know what that number is because, depending on
Yeah, but
whose pick you're getting, depending on where they fall in the draft, it could be the number 10 pick, it could be the number 1 pick, it could be the number 3 pick. You never know, right? And
Yeah.
you can once those things start to finalize, right? You can then use that
you
as
saw it
leverage.
during the
Yeah,
draft.
absolutely.
But that's my point, is I traded older players to get picks, and then I traded those picks for players because I
Yes.
would
Well, good.
rather have
Well, good. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
because I would rather have proven commodities than potential. Like, so I
Yes,
would
but
rather
what
have
did you
I would
do?
rather
You
have a
traded
player.
players to get the picks, right? And then those picks became more valuable
Yeah,
Yes.
because people wanted those picks because it's closer to those picks being made, right? So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
But I guess my point is that I would rather have a proven ceiling than a potential higher ceiling, if that
Sure.
makes sense.
Sure,
You
sure.
mean
I would
proven
too,
floor.
depending on what my team is. I would love to have a lot of assets that are worth potentially more proven assets later. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you can acquire things that are worth more, better assets later because people will value those things you have more later.
Yeah.
Like a pick. Okay, so it's week 7. A first round pick right now, people almost don't really. They'll value it, of course, because the first round. All right, let's take a second round pick. A second round pick right now. People are like, okay, cool. A second round pick on draft day, motherfucker, they'll be 10
Yeah.
times more than it is
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because a player will be there that you didn't think was gonna be there, and
Or
you'll
anything,
overpay.
Not only that. Not even that.
it's
It's
just, yeah.
yeah,
It's fun and ooh, I can do this and the rest of the season happened and they think they know more and whatever. But dude, that's what I'm saying. And I shouldn't even be talking to you guys about this.
well, it's too late. It's too late. But I think
I know you
and
know
just
anyway.
and just to wrap this up because we're gonna shut this down. I think the key and Whoopig, you hit the key on the head here. You got to know your league. Know your league, know your league mates, know what they value, and most importantly, know what they don't. And try to use that to your advantage as much as you can. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I appreciate my colleagues here for holding down the fort for Mr. Hater, or not Mr. Hater, for Mr. Raider, who decided not to join us today, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back next week. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple, and Overcast at D210 Show. We also have a YouTube channel at D210 Show Pod. And while you're there, you can see our Discord link that you can join up as well. And we appreciate every comment. We appreciate every rating, and we appreciate the banter that not only happens between each other, but also amongst the audience too. So please leave us a comment, and we'll definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, tell us how dumb we are about our takes.
Thanks for listening. Yeah. Call us out because after every week you can say how terrible we were.
Oh, 100%.
Sounds so good.
That,
Sounds so good before the week.
100%. Yeah. All right. So with all that being said, just please remember to like and
Subscribe.
All right. Take care, y'all.
Peace.